I made a review in Acellus Academy a few months ago, which helped answer many questions that parents have when trying to switch their kids to homeschooling, and they don't want to do the teaching themselves, want an accredited degree, and best of all, they want the best education for their kids. I have received tons of positive feedback on this video, and to further enhance on that video, today I'll be doing a Q&A on some of the top questions I have been getting that were not answered in my review. I'm Jesse Sanchez, and thanks for tuning into the Ultratec channel. Let's get started. So we have Stephanie Renee who asks, hello, we just left brick and mortar schooling. My daughter did her first 9 weeks in school, and does she still have to finish all of the online school? So she would have to make up the first 9 weeks of homeschool, correct? So what Stephanie here is asking is that her daughter already began her current school year. If she switches to Acellus, if she has to begin all over again. So if your student started either 1 month or 9 months of their current grade, but they didn't fully finish the grade, when they switch to Acellus, they will need to start it from the beginning. The good news is that because Acellus is more accelerated, don't be afraid to switch since they will make it up in no time. For example, my 15-year-old is on pace to graduate at 16, and my 13-year-old is a bit ahead of schedule, so at one point I'll have to slow it down for him a bit. Question 2 comes in from Dawn M. Brown, who asked, do you know if Acellus is a Christian school? Acellus offers a secular curriculum, which means it's not a religious school. It's similar to what public schools offer. Nathan Maga76 asked, is there any way to attend Acellus without paying? To put this simply, no, you cannot attend Acellus for free. But there's an option called the Roger Billings Scholarship Program, which reduces the pricing of the program by a huge portion. If that's still too expensive, you can also sign up with a program called Power Homeschool, which has the exact same content that Acellus offers, but they do not offer an accredited degree. Also, Power Homeschool costs $25 per student per month, and what you can do is have your student go to Power Homeschool until they finish the 11th grade. And then when they finish that, on the 12th grade, you transfer to Acellus. This way, they will receive an accredited high school degree. That's a good workaround if you're trying to get some savings. Our next question, Forever Fifi asked, do kids still have to go in for state testing? This will depend on the state you're from. For example, in New Jersey, where I'm from, you do not have to do state testing if you're doing homeschooling. But in states like Florida, you do have to do state testing. What some parents do is just register their kids with the district school board, and then they take the test at one of the schools. I recommend you find out your local state laws for this. Misha Anderson asked, what kind of laptop should I get my 9th grader for the Acellus program? I personally do not recommend Chromebooks since they are basically just a laptop that has a web browser on it. While you can use it, I personally don't like them. I would recommend a Windows 10 or Windows 11 desktop or laptop, and most modern systems will do just fine. But do not go cheap on the storage drive. Make sure to get a system with an SSD or a solid state drive, as this will make the system feel ultra responsive and fast, even if it has a lower end CPU. I also recommend that you get at least 8 gigs of memory. So at a minimum, get an Intel i3 CPU, 8 gigs of RAM, and 512 gigabytes of storage. If you have more money, go for an i7 CPU, an i9 CPU with 16 gigs of RAM and 1 terabyte of storage. For our next question, Kat Sucky asked, do I have to pull my child out of school and enroll her into Acellus, or do I have to speak to the school about this? This will depend on your local, state, or district regulations. In New Jersey, we had our kids try out Acellus for a month before we fully committed. Once they approved, we sent a letter to our school and let them know we were pulling them out of public school and we were switching to homeschooling. They responded that they received our request and would process our request. Augusto Hernandez TV asked, "Hi, I'm from Colombia. Can I access this program?" The great thing about Acellus is that you can take advantage of this program from anywhere in the world and you'll get an accredited US high school degree. So if that's what you want for your kids, take advantage. Nia Samel asked, "Hi, I'm a senior doing Acellus. Am I going to get a diploma for college?" You will definitely get an accredited high school degree that will allow you to get into a good college. I also recommend that during high school you follow the pathway called honors pathway, which will help you get into tougher schools. In Acellus, the regular program is called Standard High School Diploma, and the other one is called High School Graduation with Honors. If that's your main goal, I would definitely go with the honors one. For our next question, Vicky Petrovic asked, "May I ask you please, how do you block a child from having access to video games and YouTube while doing Acellus?" I actually made a video on how to tackle this particular issue using Windows kiosk mode. I recommend you watch this video. It takes a few minutes to set up, and once it's done, your kid will only have access to Acellus.com and not be able to do anything else. This keeps kids focused on their work, and they can also not cheat by Googling answers. I personally think this should be fully enforced if you want the best thing for your kids. Tanya Pela asked, "Can we pause after a grade is finished?" You can absolutely pause Acellus after you finish a grade. During last summer, we paused for 2 months and we saved on being charged during those months. During this time, your kids will not be able to access any of the program. And when you are done with your break, simply reactivate and your progress is not lost. Our next question, Elizabeth asked, "We are considering Acellus and I was wondering if you found any areas that need supplementing." So Acellus will meet the same requirements that your public schools do. The only areas that I recommend you supplement is the physical portion where you need human interactions and doing field trips. Human interaction is needed to keep your kids healthy, so make sure to keep them involved with either family gatherings, sports, family activities that involve doing physical stuff together, or keeping contact with friends they may have. For example, we try to go to museums, aquariums, do running and hiking together, and the possibilities are endless. This is where you can get creative as a parent. I'm throwing in a bonus question. Does Acellus offer a program for children with special needs? Acellus offers programs for children with special needs. It's self-paced and also fully accredited. I don't have any personal experience using this program, but I would recommend that you join the Facebook group called Acellus and Power Homeschooling for Parents. It's a great resource to get answers to most questions from other parents who are going through the same issues that we all are. I hope you have found this video helpful with this Acellus Q&A. Also, thanks to all those that have subscribed from this video. I hope to continue creating content that will help you connect with technology. Don't forget to give us a like so the video can spread to other people, and also subscribe to our channel if you're new. Thanks, and until next time, Ultratec out.